Do you want to know how to get started, scale up, and maximize profits with Airbnb? Well, I don't have all the answers, everybody, but what I can tell you is I've done 700 plus short and medium term vacation rentals all here in Southern California over various properties. And I've got, first of all, a lot of information from just my experience, but I also have a lot of very interesting information from an exciting article. And I'm going to take you into this article, but before I do that, I want to tell you that I discovered someone very interesting from this article, and it's somebody named Chris Choi, okay? And what this person is doing is they are in the top 1% of Airbnb earners, right? Yeah, earners. And what he's done is he got 100 Airbnbs, and he's projected to do $10 million in 2022. Here we are. It is June, everybody. It's the end of June 2022, and he's projected to do $10 million in revenue for Airbnb. And the majority of that, I don't have all of every single detail, but the majority of those 100, he doesn't even own the properties. And guess what, everybody? What we're going to talk about here is a new division of Airbnb called Airbnb Luxe. Airbnb Luxe is the new division where it's the inventory of $1,000 plus per night. What happened is Airbnb acquired luxury retreats years ago, and they've now rolled it out. They were originally going to call it Beyond, Airbnb Beyond, but now they call it Airbnb Luxe. So in any case, it's that special inventory that's $1,000 per night. Everybody, one of my places I'm actually working on as we speak, getting it into Airbnb Luxe. So I'm going to have more information on that in future videos, but it's certainly very, very, very exciting times in Airbnb, and I'm going to take you in there. How are you, everybody? My name is John. I do actually videos on investing, and I also do videos on short and medium-term vacation rental content. I've actually done the majority of investing videos, and while I do love investing, what I can say is here we are, it's June of 2022, and the stock markets really have just been crashing for 6 months now, and it's a little more inspiring. I've actually found it to be a little bit more inspiring to do more content on Airbnb VRBO and the shorter and medium-term vacation rental content, because here we are, it's the end of June, and we are right in the thick of the busiest season for this, and it's really, what everybody would call the high season, right? It's really reasonably astonishing how much you can really make from this sort of thing. Okay, everybody, so let's go ahead. I'm going to take you in right now. Okay, how to get started, scale up, and maximize profits with Airbnb according to people who have done it. Everybody, I'm going to go ahead and skip ahead because they got people in here that are only doing 100,000 in revenue with like 15 rentals, which I don't really get that. That sounds, a little bit low to me. Even mine, I do way more than that with even just 2 rentals. Actually, I have more than 2 rentals, and I've had multiple rentals over many years. But my point is I'll do way over 100,000 with just 2 rentals. And let's get it right here. Chris Choi has over 100 Airbnbs, but almost got evicted from his first listing for breaking apartment rules. Chris dropped out of dental school to pursue real estate investing, growing his listings from a 1-bedroom in San Diego to over 100 listings across the country. He used a strategy called rental arbitrage. Again, obviously arbitrage, meaning he doesn't actually own them. He just rents them from someone and then rents it out on Airbnb, in which he rents properties and then subleases them without owning them outright. As of March, he was on track to do $10 million in 2022. So we take a little bit here, into Chris. Basically, what I can, this whole video is not going to be about this guy, Chris, but I do think it is pretty inspiring kind of what he's accomplished. I think the guy's not even 30, or he just turned 30 or something, and he was in dental school and dropped out and did his first 1-bedroom apartment on Airbnb in 2015, and now he's got 100. It seems like I've looked him up on social media, and he seems to certainly specialize in mentoring people as well. Has a very hefty charge for that, but he is very clearly specializing in Airbnb Luxe. With 4,000 in savings and another 4,000 in credit card funds, Chris took a leap of faith into Airbnb subrenting and starting out with a simple one-bedroom apartment. Now, 7 years later, Chris is recognized as a top 1% Airbnb earner with over 100 properties across 7 major cities, with his Airbnb business expected to reach 10 million in revenue by the end of this year, which is 2022. You would think Chris has his hands full. Well, you'd be dead wrong. I'm having the same portfolio, Airbnb tycoon. He's also a diverse range of plans of investments such as restaurant chains, luxury, concierge. So, we'll see what other businesses he does. I mean, I think that, having 100 Airbnbs and specializing in Luxe is pretty, certainly has your hand full. Everybody, what I want to do is I want to show you Airbnb Luxe here. Basically, what is interesting, and again, like I said, I'm actually working on getting one of my places into Airbnb Luxe. I certainly don't have it in there yet, but stay tuned for more content because I'm going to be doing content related to getting this property into Airbnb Luxe. But I'm going to go ahead and show you on the Airbnb site some of the inventory that shows up as Luxe and then also is 1,000 plus per night. Okay. So what I'm doing is I'm going to go in here, and this is basically just a search where I went into the filters and I went to Southern California, as you can see on the map here, and I went to a minimum of 1,000 per night, and it's like over 1,000 stays. So just tons of inventory that Airbnb has here at $1,000 per night. Basically, the cheapest one I could find in Los Angeles is right here at about 1,104 per night. I know I have a feeling there is maybe one other that's cheaper than that, but that's about the cheapest one I could find in LA, and that is actually in Topanga. If you're from Los Angeles, you know where Topanga is. It's pretty much right up there, just before Malibu. If you're driving up PCH from Santa Monica and you're heading up towards Malibu, Topanga's right there, just before you actually hit Malibu. So if you if you scroll over, this is the actual one at about 1104. It's got about 16 reviews. I'm fairly certain that I've got more than 16 reviews on my Airbnbs. But basically, yeah, so definitely some professional pictures, as you can see. And it's like, a nice, little place here. 8 guests, 4 bedrooms, and 3 baths, up there in Topanga. Obviously, very, very beautiful views. You can see here really what the place looks like, kind of go into each picture here with Airbnb. Very modern kind of desert vibe, even though it's, right up there in Topanga. Super duper, pretty and nice. It's really not the biggest place, in terms of 3 bedrooms and 4 baths, but certainly they've done a very good job with the furniture and the way that it's laid out. My understanding with respect to Airbnb is they say it's a 300-point inspection process to actually get onto Luxe. I personally haven't seen that 300-point. As I mentioned, I'm going to be doing more content, so I will get that 300-point inspection and provide some of that content to you all, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and go back to this main Airbnb page. So as you can see, it's Luxe here. It's Luxe here. This is $1,450 a night. That's a lot more than 1,000, but and obviously that's super nice. But you can see here that some of these just say Superhost, and these people are charging over 1,000, but it doesn't necessarily say Luxe. It just says Superhost, and even right here, it doesn't even say Luxe, right? So, and if you were to go to Airbnb Luxe, who's there? This is actually, if you were to type in Airbnb Luxe, this is where you go. But even if you go down, and if I were to kind of select Los Angeles, it takes me kind of right back to Airbnb, and it shows pretty much, I guess 56 days just for Luxe. They're trying to show you the the higher inventory, like way above 1,000, these at 4,000 and such per night. But if you go in here, to Airbnb, this filter was 1,000 plus per night, and it's got over 1,000 places right in Southern California for that minimum of 1,000. And as you can see, it just says who's Superhost. It doesn't actually say Luxe, right? And even here, it doesn't even say Superhost or Luxe, but it is over 1,000. So there's a lot of inventory and properties that they have that are over 1,000 that are not necessarily in the Lux area. But what I can tell you is, this person that I found that is obviously doing very exciting things. Chris Choi, he appears to me, in terms of looking at him on social media, that he is specializing in that Lux area and getting people in to kind of get the 1,000 plus per night, going out there and doing a rental arbitrage, finding a place to rent, and then renting it there, then out, onto Airbnb Luxe. If you think about it, it's a great concept. Certainly, you go and you book. Let's just say you can get up there, do like 1,500 a night. You book 10 nights, that's 15,000, and that's very high revenue. Certainly, the only issue that I'm going to see that I'm excited about exploring is everything related to number one, repairs and changes to the property that you're going to have to do, and then two, of course, furnishings. Right? Anybody who's ever fixed up a house and sold it knows it's extremely expensive to fix up real estate. Even something as sometimes landscaping can be like the most expensive, but it's very expensive to do that. So I just really certainly wonder how much money it's really going to take to get a property to that $1,000 per night level, right? Even with my place that I'm trying to get into 1,000 per night, which with larger groups, I actually sometimes can get it to that level, not exactly at that level, but closer to that level. And that's another subject for different content. But basically, I get a little really curious about how much money it's really going to take to refurnish how many rooms or all the rooms, everything related to all the furnishings to really get into that Lux category or get into that $1,000 plus per night category. You can always change your rates, everybody, change them and increase your rates, and then see pretty much who would actually book it at something like 1,000. But I was just doing this video because I'm starting to do more content on short-term rentals, and I think it's very inspiring to see someone that actually, took back in 2015, which is I guess 7 years ago, rented a one-bedroom apartment, on Airbnb, and now has got 100 units and is specializing in Lux, bringing in $10 million, and is now in the top 1% of Airbnb earners. Hopefully, you guys like that, everybody. I do have a certainly have a background here in real estate. I did very exciting, done a few flips here in Los Angeles, and also done a few developments, as well as I got some properties here in Southern California. I've done 700 plus short and medium term vacation rentals, and also have a background in investing. Stay tuned for more content. If you like this, everybody, if you like to see inspiring news articles or inspiring content on Airbnb in the short and medium-term vacation rentals, consider subscribing and give this video a like. Also, I do come out with content on investing. I'm probably not going to be doing as much on investing because it seems like we're kind of in or approaching certainly a bear market, and going to be really going after stuff it's a little bit more inspiring and giving me even with my businesses a little bit more momentum. But in any case, if you do like the idea of seeing great investment ideas and great content on Airbnb and real estate, go ahead and consider subscribing to the channel. Thank you guys, everybody, so much, and have a great one.